Pippin. Scotty Pippin.
Okay, here we go. Hello again, folks, and welcome to Junk Dilemmas, an Irvine Welsh podcast. Jem is laughing already, but I don't care. I'm just going to crack on here.
He's not cracking one off.
No. Disclosure straight away. Let's get it out of the way. We're not affiliated in any way with Irvine Welsh. We're just fans of his. And you know yourself, we're going to curse and say lots of dirty, naughty words.
Oh, yes, we are.
And also, while I think of it as well, a big, huge thanks to Mr. Damien Whelan, who did the new cover art for the podcast. We're both delighted with that.
Extremely happy.
Yeah, both looking well. If you want to check out any more of Damien's work, it's on damienwhelan.art. The link is on our social media accounts.
He doesn't just do artwork, he does personal appearances.
He does, yes.
Naked house cleaning. And a few other little bits he has on the side.
Yes, for a small fee.
Yeah.
Like Trevor Garrity and his plumbing. He'll go
our main
wherever
sponsor.
you need him.
Trevor Garrity Plumbing.
Our spiritual sponsor.
Yes, no money has changed hands.
Indeed. So we've another first again here today, folks. Obviously, we're forever changing on this podcast. It started off, it was just me talking about train spotting. Well, talking about train spotting for about 17 hours over 3 episodes. Then Jem got involved. Then we discovered that it was best served with alcohol. And now we've another first. I'm recording standing up because my arse is still killing me.
I'd just like to point out that's nothing to do with me.
Yes, and not in the usual way that people's arses are killing them in Irvine Welsh books either. I'm still having back problems, still got DL sciatica, but I did get an old injection there a couple of days ago. Not the type of injection that people usually get in Irvine Welsh books either.
And a soothing rub as well.
There was a bit of a soothing rub, yes, but we won't say anything more about that. We're here today to talk about a film.
Yes, we are.
Well, reportedly, it's a film.
It's a thing that's on the telly.
Yes, it's the adaptation of the last story from the last book that we covered, Ecstasy.
The shit story.
Yes, indeed. The shit story, or the shittest of the 3 stories for certain. The story was called The Undefeated. The film is called Irvine Welsh's Ecstasy. Don't be alarmed, James. There's a cat down here beside me, and I'll point that out to you now. But yeah, we're going to talk about Irvine Welsh's Ecstasy. I say Irvine Welsh's Ecstasy. I don't think he had too much to do with this adaptation.
I hope not, because he goes down in my estimation if he did.
Okay. I can see straight away that we're going to play good cop, bad cop here.
I'll be good cop.
No, I think you're definitely going to be bad cop. I'm not going to be too good, but possibly better than you. But let's get on with it. Let's get on with the backstory of the book. So, in the year 2000, this film came out in 2011, but in the year 2000, yeah, that's how long it's around.
Holy jeez!
And you only heard about it a few weeks ago.
I had the misfortune to watch it a few weeks ago. Why wasn't I told earlier?
I do remember it coming out. I remember being excited when I heard this was coming out, because it was kind of the first, Irvine Welsh adaptation in quite a few years, since The Acid House, really. But according to my extensive research, financing started for this in the year 2000, so it took a while to get off the ground. It sounds like they had a few problems. The director is a guy called Rob Hayden. He's Canadian. So this is a Canadian stroke Scottish production.
Very close ties with Leith and Ottawa.
Yes, indeed. Well, you'll see from when we talk about the cast that it's a mixture, but basically there's not too many Scottish people in it.
Fucking isn't.
Yeah, so I mean, essentially, it's an independent film, so they had a lot of problems just getting it off the ground by the sounds of it. Roughly 10 years. But it was...
You can't rush perfection.
No, definitely not. But it was eventually financed and cast. I believe the original actress that they had cast for it, I don't have her name down here, but she got cancer, so she had to pull out. So that's why we got the actress that we got. We'll speak about her momentarily. But it was filmed in late December 2010 to early 2011 in Scotland and Canada and in Amsterdam also. So
Amsterdam.
yeah, when he goes to Amsterdam, they did actually go to Amsterdam apparently.
It didn't. Yeah. All right. I forgot about that. We watched it 2 weeks ago.
I did listen to an interview with the director, and he did say that it'd be a bit hard to fake Amsterdam in terms of all the tourists and prostitutes and whatnot.
He dressed up as a fucking priest in an airport. That was about it.
I'm not sure if that was in Amsterdam. That was probably just
on the way.
Yeah. But
did that happen in Amsterdam?
Yeah, we'll get to that.
All right. Oh yeah. The old. I get you now.
Yeah, more arse invasions.
Yes, it's all coming back to me now.
But anyway, the director, Rob Hayden, he doesn't have many directing credits to his name.
I'm surprised.
Yes, either before or after. He did do a horror film in 2018 called Isabel. I haven't seen it, but the reviews weren't kind.
I don't think the reviews for this one were kind either.
Mark Blamire, who was the original, he was involved in the marketing campaign for Trainspotting. He was hired to be involved in the graphic design and marketing here. Would you have guessed?
No. Well, he just copied everything.
But basically, he did look to be heavily inspired by Trainspotting across the board here. There was supposedly a large social media campaign to spread awareness of this film. Now, maybe I wasn't on social media as much 10 years ago as I am now. I think I was, but I don't remember too much about this in terms of social media. I certainly don't remember any TV adverts or anything like that. It did get released in the cinema, amazingly. Yeah.
Imagine paying money to see that. Oh, you did
actually. Apparently on the opening weekend it grossed 26,487 sterling. So
it's not great.
No, I don't think it's a great return.
I wouldn't imagine so.
It cost $1 million to make, apparently.
In fairness, it looks like they did spend money on it. It wasn't like, it's not as cheap looking as the Acid House. So it looks like they spent money, which makes it even worse.
It looks more modern than the Acid House, and it should, because it was made 13 years later or whatever. But I don't know how cheap or expensive it looks now, to be honest with you.
No, it doesn't look. I don't think it looks cheap. It's just shit.
Okay, and apparently things weren't helped either by the fact that another film called Ecstasy came out the same year.
Hence the Irvine Welsh's Ecstasy.
Yes, possible. Well, that's probably where that comes from. And a similar enough plot line, apparently. And it was another Canadian film.
What?
Yes.
These fucking Canadians are mental.
My God, those damn Canadians. There was a soundtrack as well, of course. Again, not very memorable as far as I'm concerned. The most recognisable name I can see on it was Paul Oakenfold, who I'm not a fan of anyway.
No, didn't even have any Scatman John or anything.
No, definitely not.
It would have been huge at the time.
There was a couple of well-known bands towards the end, and I'll speak about them at the time. But the soundtrack, very modernised dance music, which wouldn't be my cup of tea whatsoever. And I suspect,
it wouldn't have been playing at the time either.
Well, I don't know if they put a kind of date on when this is meant to be set. Obviously, we know the book was set
medieval times, I thought, wasn't it?
Well, just afterwards, perhaps.
After the Renaissance.
The Renaissance.
Yeah, that's your man from Hello Hello.
Why didn't they shoot in France then? It just doesn't make sense. But yeah, the soundtrack, it wouldn't be my cup of tea whatsoever. Oh. But shall we talk about the cast?
Sure. Fire away.
Let's do it. The lead role of Lloyd Boost is played by Adam Sinclair. I did recognise him. I recognised him from a really crap Sky One comedy in the noughties called Mile High, which I don't remember watching, I just remember it.
No.
The words Sky One and comedy don't go together.
They're not great.
He was also in one of the later series of 24.
Right, when he's around 22 or 20.
Well, no, later I said.
Oh, even later?
Yeah, possibly 30.
Jesus.
It was actually 24, Live Another Day.
Well, I should have just said 48.
Well, it kind of makes a bit of sense because he's actually married to the stepdaughter of Kiefer Sutherland in real life. So, perhaps
nepotism.
That might have played a part. His wife, she's the daughter of one of the founding members of the rock group Chicago.
Is she?
Yeah. Just thought I'd throw that in there as well.
If you're leaving now, is that them?
That's them, yeah. Actually, ironically enough, I used one of their other songs, Hard Habit to Break, when I was promoting the Train Spotting episode on Instagram. I thought it was hilarious.
I went down a treat.
Yes, indeed. It got at least 4 views. But come here. He's living in Venice Beach. He's married to, a good-looking woman. He's doing all right for himself, so we won't feel too bad about what we might end up saying. But I'll be honest, I didn't think he was awful in this.
No, he's not the worst thing about the film.
I don't think he's a bad actor at all. I think he's possibly miscast in this. I think he's
Definitely,
more you're arrogant. He's more of a sick boy than he's certainly not Lloyd Booth from the book.
In fairness, he's not from the book. Lloyd Booth I hated so much. And he's not as hateable in the film. So,
exactly.
So he's not cast the same as the film, but
no, the film is obviously going to be more glamorous, and there's not too much glamour in this film, but it's definitely more glamorous than the story in the book.
Yeah, he doesn't smoke crack in this, unfortunately.
No, he doesn't.
Or crystal meth. Was it crystal meth or crack?
I think he was trying a bit of meth, actually.
Yeah, it was meth.
Because we were surprised that was around.
But,
and there's also no mention of his scrotum hygiene, thankfully.
He was obsessed with cleaning his helmet.
Well, once he got a girlfriend, he felt that was essential for the courting.
He would clean it twice a week as opposed to never.
But that was the same in the book Train Spotting. Renton's Mickey is pretty filthy as well, and there's no mention of that in the film, thankfully.
There's a few things coming along with these Irvine Welsh books.
Well, you get away with stuff on paper that you don't get away with.
But he has certain subjects that he likes to tackle.
Absolutely. Personal hygiene is big up there.
Scratching your hole or your Mickey.
Yes.
Sodomizing. And abusing animals.
Yeah, there's a lot of recurring themes, all right. But yeah, so that's Adam. He was also I noticed that he was in a short film which was produced by the actual people who made the latest Alien films. And I watched it. It's literally online there on YouTube or wherever. And it's not bad, in fairness. So that's Adam Sinclair.
Adam's not too bad, in fairness.
Yeah. Next up, playing Heather was Kristen Crook. She's a Canadian actress. I'd never heard of her before, but it looks like she's been in some big enough things. She was in Smallville for a good few years. She was in a Beauty and the Beast TV series, not the one from the 90s with Linda Hamilton.
No.
Damn it. Some Disney produced one from years later. And she also played out Chun-Li from Street Fighter in a Chun-Li devoted film, which I do not remember, but I do like Chun-Li.
Yeah.
I used to like that move she did where she turned upside down. And
maybe we should get stuck into that one.
Absolutely. Somehow we can connect it. Well, here's the connection.
There's a massive connection here. I don't know what you're talking about.
But she's playing a Canadian in the film, which the character of Heather was not Canadian in the story. I don't know whether that added or took away from the story, to be honest with you.
There was just, her character was stupid and pointless in the film. It was awful.
Again, I don't think she's a bad actress. I
think she was shit.
Really?
Oh my God, it was terrible.
I felt a presence of her.
I'm sure you did. That has nothing to do with her acting.
No, honest to God, I don't think she's an awful actress. I just thought she was out of place here. But there's a lot out of place here.
Stop. The character in the film was written so badly. It was terrible.
Well, I spoke on the book episode about how much I liked her character in the book, just when she was playing this, sardonic fucking wife who just wanted to get away from that boring husband. And there is a bit of that in this, but it doesn't come across.
I didn't like her in the book, and I hated her even more in the film.
Okay. Yeah, you're definitely the fucking bad cop here. Okay, let's do this. Next up in the cast is Billy Boyd.
Fucking that habit comes.
Yes, Billy Boyd, who is, of course, most famous from playing Pippin in the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
He should have fucking stayed as Pippin. Oh.
I'm not a big Lord of the Rings fan now, James.
I do.
I know you like. I know your good wife loves Lord of the Rings as well. So you're well aware of Pippin's acting prowess here.
He was a stupid little fucker in the Lord of the Rings as well, in fairness. He was the little hairy fucker who...
Are they not all little hairy fuckers?
Yeah, but he was one who kept getting in trouble, kept looking at stuff and poking at stuff when he shouldn't.
Sounds like he belongs in an Irvine Welsh novel, so...
He was annoying in this one, he goes...
Oh my God. Well, let's just mention as well here, when I also noticed that he was in Seed of Chucky, one of the sequels to Child's Play.
I think he could actually be the Seed of Chucky.
He is the Seed, yes indeed.
Yeah,
he was Glenn, the actual seed of Chucky.
Chucky's seed was called Glenn.
Yeah. scary stuff.
Oh my God, he's coming. Who? Glenn.
Madeiras.
Nothing's going to. Oh,
but let's point this out. Here's an exciting moment for me. He is the only actor in this cast
who got paid.
I suspect he possibly got paid the most. I don't know because of his CV, but no, he was in Taggart.
Oh, was
James? Yes. So we managed to fit that in. Thank Christ.
What was he in Taggart?
Oh, jeez, I don't know that.
Right.
I think it was his first acting role, though. Yeah, he was
Taggart on the hunt for hobbits.
The case of the missing hobbit. Yeah. No, apparently it was his first acting role was in Taggart, as I suspect a lot of Scottish actors.
I would imagine so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll speak about old Billy as we speak about the story. But moving on, cast-wise then, in the part of the main villain of Solo. No, not the big man. We'll get to him.
We'll get to him, my favourite.
The main villain, has to be said, is the character of Solo. He's played by a guy called Carlo Rota. He's British stroke Canadian. He was in 24. He was in one of the Saw sequels. But this is a big ups for me here now. He was in Breaking Bad. Was he? Yeah, he was only in one episode. He played Benicio Fuentes, who was the chemist for your man, the Don, was it Don Eladio?
Tito Puentes?
Yeah. He was the chemist down in Mexico, basically, who they sent. Remember, Gus brought Jesse Pinkman down to replace him. So he's actually in that famous scene where Gus poisons the Don with the tequila, kills everyone at poolside. So for me...
Does he get killed?
Yeah.
Excellent.
He does, yes. And he's literally only in that one episode of Breaking Bad, but he's decent in it. So if nothing else, we've got a guy from Breaking Bad and a guy from Taggart. So I'm happy enough to end it here.
There was enough ingredients there for a classic.
Definitely. Geez, we've a few more cast members to get through here. I'm going to fly through them. One of Lloyd's friends, Ali.
Oh, Don't talk about him. He's just pointless.
He's trying to play this kind of, I don't know...
Wanker.
Health conscious, yet, is taking drugs, but yet he thinks that taking healthy food during the day is going to sort out his life. He's played by a guy called Karam Malaki Sanchez. He's Canadian.
Oh, I thought he was Scottish.
He was also in 24. We're seeing a lot of 24 connections here. Maybe that's the new Taggart. He was in True Blood. So, again, I hadn't seen him before, to be honest. But, yeah, he didn't play a great character in this, that has to be said. Natalie Brown, who was the friend of Heather. I think she's Canadian as well.
The nurse one, was it?
Was she a nurse?
Yeah, I think she
was.
Oh,
yeah, she was the nurse. She had a few lines, in fairness.
She was really Canadian in, like...
Yeah, well...
She didn't hide the fucking accent well.
No, neither her nor Heather did. A few of them are trying to pretend to be Scottish here, and it does not work. Some of them were just playing inexplicably Canadians in Scotland.
Because there's a massive Canadian population there in Leith.
Well, I suppose this was filmed when people were allowed to travel to different countries. Yeah. But
I don't think Leith would have been the place to go for all these Canadians.
Possibly not. Next up, possibly my favourite character in the film, it's Hazel. She's the girl who has the sex with Lloyd and is wearing the earphones.
She doesn't say anything, does she?
No, she doesn't say a word, but I think she's a natural. I really liked her performance in the film for that scene anyway. Olivia Anthrop is her name. Apparently this is her one and only acting role. So that's why she doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
But she really stood out for me in this production.
The highlight, would you say?
Yes, quite possibly. Jim Boost, Lloyd's dad, played by a guy called Stephen McHattie, another Canadian.
With an Irish accent.
He was all over the place. He really was. He sounded Irish. He sounded Scottish for maybe a second or two.
And he probably pissed himself by the looks of him.
Well, I actually thought he played the part well.
He did, but it was like it came out of nowhere. It was just...
Yeah, I think that we spoke about it in the book.
It was supposed to be junkies with heart, is it?
Yeah, basically that's it. Remember when we were talking about in the book that Lloyd was making soup for some elderly woman that lived... I think this was what they were trying to achieve here by showing that he was, a drug smuggler with a heart, as you say.
Should have just got him to make fucking soup.
Yeah. Literally an hour and a half of him showing us how to make vegetable soup.
Well, you might have got something out of the film then.
But I did think your man, McHattie, played the part well. He played a good piss up here.
Piss head, yeah.
I had recognised him from a David Cronenberg film called A History of Violence. He was pretty psychotic in that. He was in it for a while. Who else have we got here? Yeah, Heather's husband, Dean McDermott. Another Canadian, I think. Dreadful Scottish accent in this. He's married to Tori Spelling in real life, yeah. So
full of money.
Absolutely. But I
should have got Tori in it.
Well, she could have probably played this part better than him.
Yeah, I would imagine
he was terrible. The vicar or the priest, whatever.
God.
It was actually Siobhan, my wife, recognised him. He's some comedian that used to be on Whose Line Is It Anyway? Colin Mockery.
Yeah, I remember him.
He is genuinely Scottish, though, I think.
Oh my God.
So fair play to him. Yeah. And last but not least, the doctor in the rehab clinic that poor old Pippin ends up in. He's played by Alex Leifson, who is the guitarist of Rush.
What?
Yeah. Again, the Canadian connection coming in here.
Give us a look at that fucker. I can't remember what he is.
The picture's very small.
Yeah, that's not much of a picture, in fairness.
Look up a few more episodes of Trailer Park Boys and I'm sure you'll recognise him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's it. Was he in it?
Apparently so.
Obviously he was.
Come here, give me that sheet back. I haven't finished reading off it.
Lost without the notes.
Anyway, that's the cast. We got through it. This is a bigger cast than I thought.
Yeah, but a lot of them do nothing.
Yeah, that's pretty much all we're going to say about them, I think.
Yeah.
Let's get on with talking about the film in the breakdown. Okay, so the first...
You should put MC Hammer music there. Break it down.
I'll look it up. I'm going to be trying anyway. I'm switching it over to another platform soon, so I'm going to have different sounds in between. Yes. A little more zings and whatnot. Zing. Originally, I had planned to, depending on what we're talking about, to have sound effects to do with that. Like for the Acid House, I actually downloaded a fly sound effect and just never ended up fucking using it. I think for the... Did I? No. The thing I recorded with Jules, I had trains sound effect. Never ended up. Just fuck that. Nobody fucking cares.
No one cares about your fucking trains
or your fucking flies. Anyway, the first scene, the first thing you see is an eye opening, and I just didn't see the point of that because usually that would mean that at some point later in the film you'd see why his eye was opening, or at the end of the film his eye would be closing. Pointless.
Your man just had a fetish for eyeballs, maybe.
Yes. And then we hear Lloyd's voice describing the joys of taking ecstasy, basically. God. So straight away, I'm not going to say copying, because I mean...
It was copying. Just completely and utterly
what
copying.
I mean is, Trainspotting wasn't the first film to have a character narrating the story as it went along.
No.
But it's certainly one of the better ones, but that's definitely the inspiration here, I think. So yeah, he's talking about how great it is to basically stand on the dance floor sweating your arse off talking shite to people. And then we see this kind of complete Trainspotting rip-off where they do the cast roll call with their names coming up on the screen. Jeez. So we see...
we never mentioned the big man in the character fucking thing.
I don't even have him down in the cast.
Oh my God.
I'm going to talk about him, honestly.
Right. He's the highlight of the film.
Jesus, was he even on IMDb now that I look at it?
Well, he was one of the main lads in the picture.
I know, but I've printed this off from IMDb. So I just look him up quickly there on your phone. Anyway, the roll call, they go through them all as they're dancing on the dance floor. We get Woodsy, aka Pippin, hereby known as Pippin.
He's no hair in this one, he's all shaved off. Although he's going bald in Lord of the Rings by the look of it anyway.
This guy, Ali, then they just have...
A wet fucking sack. One of the worst characters ever.
They have some lassie with pink hair that just comes up on the screen. Lassie with pink hair. Who was that?
There was no one. She was just sitting on the couch.
Okay, so that was just a joke they threw in there, was it?
Yeah, there was zany bants.
Hazel gets a mention, gets her name in lights here, even though she doesn't speak, we don't think.
No.
And then Solo's bodyguard is shown at the sidelines.
Jesus. He doesn't say that neither.
No, he's a deaf mute. He has to be. But he looks like Henry Rollins, I thought. He's
an elongated version of Henry Rollins.
Anyway, they have this big exciting dance scene for that.
Oh, sure, they're having great crack.
They really are. And then straight into the title sequence, Irvine Welsh's Ecstasy. Did it come up, Irvine Welsh's Ecstasy, or just Ecstasy? I can't remember.
I can't fucking remember.
He goes to visit his dad then, to show that
he's got a heart.
the dad is obviously a bit worse for wear. And straight away, I'm like, what is he saying? And what accent is he saying it in?
Mongolian with a twang of Taiwanese.
Oh, Lord. There is a quote, though.
The quotes are just such a rip off of fucking Trainspotting as well.
But there's some that are from the story, The Undefeated, and then some which I didn't recognise at all. But there's this quote in here that I think is at the start of the book. They say death kills you, but death doesn't kill you. Boredom and indifference kills you. But looks for alcohol is killing. Well, it's revealed later on that he has cancer, but he's definitely
from the alcohol, I believe.
Quite possibly, yeah. And then Lloyd is off on this location shoot to Amsterdam. He's mixing business with pleasure, of course. He's off his face.
Gets a bag of drugs rammed up his hole.
He does indeed. We've seen altercations like this before, but at least the person who was doing the insertion here was better looking. So
yeah,
it was a bit easier on the eye than, say, old Doreen and fucking Bob Senior.
Well, Doreen was a bit of a looker, in fairness. And I think she had a bit more passion than this one.
Absolutely. But sure, look, what Irvine Welsh story wouldn't be complete without some
anal
sort of
insertion?
Indeed. He takes a bit extra for himself that old Solo doesn't know about
on
as
the
well.
sly.
And then we get another narration where he's saying that smuggling is an art.
Oh, Jesus. And he went, what did he go? One time the first time he was at a film or a photographer.
Yeah, he looked to me like he was trying to dress like Hunter S. Thompson in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. He couldn't have stood out more if he tried.
You've got to blend in. And you're walking through this fucking airport, everyone dressed in grey and with drab. He's wearing a big Hawaiian shirt and a stupid hat, pair of shades.
And giving the fucking the customs officer loads of cheek as well.
Yeah.
Trying his best to get fucking frisked here. But he gets away with it. He calls the officer sweet cheeks before he disappears. Surely ensuring that your man will remember him.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
No.
Days later, he comes back, and the only difference is he's wearing a collar as a priest.
You're getting ahead of yourself here, but yes,
sorry,
that does happen.
Does happen.
But as he's leaving that customs area, we get another quote from, I suppose, the book. It's the Iggy Pop song quote. "We are the undefeated, TV in the shade. Girls at all our parties, we've really got it made." Which is from that album Brick by Brick, which I mentioned on the book episode.
Ah, you certainly did.
Also features the song Neon Forest, which is mentioned in the book Trainspotting.
Right, I prefer Nottingham Forest. Not a big Iggy Pop fan.
It shows him then another Trainspotting inspired scene where he's excreting the drugs in the toilet.
Taking a shy and then out with pops.
Well, at least he doesn't stick his head down the bowl afterwards.
I wish he fucking did.
And drown himself.
Yes.
Old Ali, your favourite character, gives him a healthy drink then afterwards to sort his insides out.
Yeah.
And then we get the first of old Pippin's intended amusing anecdotes. Just like they're trying to make him the spud of this film, are they?
I don't know. No,
he's not as vulnerable as Spud.
He's nothing. He's just running around shouting. They're
literally trying to make him the comedy sidekick, and it just fails miserably. I'm sorry. God. I mean, as I say, you've seen Lord of the Rings more than I. He probably got a few laughs in that at the time.
He would have got more than in this fucking shite.
Yes. I don't know. It's hard to place your finger on it, but
it's hard to put your finger on what was the idea behind him.
Yeah. As I say, I think they tried to kind of almost not directly replace the characters from Trainspotting, but certainly were heavily inspired, and he's just trying to be the comedy element here, and it just fails miserably. But he goes to see Solo then in his office. There's just nothing intimidating about Solo's office.
Did you notice how Solo is like, for I'd say 80 to 85% of the film, he's absolutely atrocious, and in the last 10 or 15 minutes, it's like he remembered how to act. He was grand, but up to that, it was literally like to grab some lad off the street and ask him to do bits.
Yeah, like the accent doesn't help for starters. He just does not. He doesn't do a good Scottish accent, I don't think.
He's just terrible.
It's just a calamity of errors. They've
brilliant.
got he's dealing with some insubordinate here at the start to try and show that, you know, this is how he deals with fuckers that piss him off, and he headbutts them, and he's got pictures of his granny above him in the office. So they're kind of trying to put a comedy element in there as well. It's just fucking weird. You know, Lloyd comes in then, he Solo's joking that, oh, you better not rip me off and that, and it just doesn't work. As I say, neither him nor the fake Henry Rollins come across as very intimidating at all.
No, neither. You put the fag out in your man's hand, was it?
Yeah. Was that then? Or was that later on?
I don't know. But like, your man's after fleecing him of a load of money, and all he does is nuts him, and then puts a fag out in his hand,
and off you go.
And off you go now. Thanks. I'll keep the 50 grand that I just robbed on you.
Yeah. So this, I suppose the thing about this is the part that wasn't in the book, you know, that they've added. There was a small bit of drug smuggling in the book, wasn't there? But it was more localised.
Down to Newcastle.
Yeah.
On the train.
Working for the poisonous cunt.
Yeah. And Solo was just a mate.
Yeah, Solo was in a wheelchair in the book and wasn't a threat whatsoever. Yeah. So they've just given this guy this name. But the story here is that he's trying to basically shave a bit off all of Solo's stashes to save up and basically pay off his debts and get the fuck away from him. So he's trying to get him a better life for himself and his...
I wouldn't even go that far.
No, not at this point.
He just wants to get rid of his debt so he can get more debt.
Yeah. He's got this kind of casual thing going on with young Heather. As I say, they have this steamy sex scene with the earphones. They're obviously off their face on something, so they just want to continue with the beats. But I don't know, that would spoil it a bit for me. Like, why would you? Well, maybe not. Depends who it's with.
What do you mean?
You might want to hear what's going on. You might want to drown it out with shite dance music.
Yeah.
But
I don't think they actually had sex there, in fairness.
Well, possibly not. It's not an actual porno.
No.
But there's plenty of boobage anyway. And maybe a flash or two of Lloyd's arse, I can't remember. I didn't take note of that.
I'm sure there was a bit of arse somewhere.
Indeed.
That sort of thing. There usually is.
He's got more wacky fashion then after that. He's wearing this kind of weird fur coat and Bono glasses while he's chilling out on the ground.
More like fucking Leaving Las Vegas. Or not Leaving Las Vegas. Fear and Loathing.
Yeah.
Same type of... It's just...
They're just trying to... Yeah.
Just ripping off everything.
He has another conversation with Ali then, and this is kind of from the book.
God, I hate that.
Where they're talking about... I'll stop mentioning his name. I'll just say, you know your man.
Yeah.
But this is the bit in the book where they're basically trying to say, look, we're getting a bit old for this kind of malarkey and we should try and find a nice girl and settle down. But we get a little montage then of Edinburgh as he's walking towards his dad's house. And I suppose that is one of the things it has over most Train Spotting, is that it was actually filmed in Leith. Leith and certainly Edinburgh Centre.
Whereas Canada.
Yeah. I didn't spot the Canadian bits in fairness, but there is a bit. I mean, he walks down those steps what's the pub? The Black Bull that Renton runs past at the start of Train Spotting as well.
That was just a rip off of the Train Spotting again.
Yeah, true. But look, at least they're showing that the story is set in Leith, and we've seen a few spots. Bobby's Bar was another spot. It has a little dog's statue outside it. That's a famous landmark in the area, I believe. But he's back with his dad, who's, as we said, an alcoholic and a very lonely man. But Lloyd clearly loves him.
Oh, to bits.
Wouldn't you say he's baiting him in this scene?
As you do.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, his father's sick, so, you know.
He's fucking pissed.
He does reveal he has cancer at some point.
This is well after he's giving him a bath.
He's looking after him anyway. Right. There's no mention of the mother, so we can only assume that she's dead.
No, that's what he was heartbroken over. The Owlad. That's why
I'll cut that out for you, right? And we get another scene from the book then. It's the DJ set in the community centre.
Jesus
Christ.
But
it doesn't come across half as funny as it did in the book, I have to say. In the book, we had these hard fuckers who were in the corner playing table tennis and refused to leave even when the music started.
To kill them.
Yeah. Whereas here we just get more of Pippin acting the fucker, basically. having an argument with the priest about the pros and cons of drugs versus religion, and calling the priest a hypocrite.
And then just this fucking hardcore rave on a Tuesday afternoon, 1:00 or something.
Yeah, it didn't give the impression it was really during the day at this, though. It looked like it went on a bit longer, but it was raided eventually.
Yeah.
But Lloyd is...
Didn't Pippin fuck all the E in the air?
He just
Lloyd was selling E at the fucking... at the rave. And for some reason, Pippin got his hands on pretty much all the E and just fucked him in the air.
He just
threw him in the air.
Destroying the stock, yeah.
It's just, oh my God. And then didn't fucking Solo arrive? And the big man as well were there.
Yeah, they got wind of it, obviously. That
everyone was there.
That they were obviously there because Lloyd was dealing, and that's, Solo's job. But there was a bit as well that reminded me of the Acid House movie where somebody was Lloyd had them all on their knees and was giving them yolks.
Oh, yeah.
Like communion.
Yeah.
It was kind of cringy, to be
fair.
fair.
It was horrific.
But it was a much better turnout for the rave.
That was a good turnout, in fairness.
Than the book, but
it would have made a few bob out of that.
He definitely... Well, he would have if Pippin hadn't started destroying the stock and just thrown it
flinging it everywhere.
But yeah, Solo finds out and he adds that to Lloyd's death then. So he's done himself just more damage there. So Pippin actually gets arrested at the community centre.
Yeah, he goes mental.
Yeah.
He literally goes fucking mental.
And I don't know who owns the decks and the equipment, but that was just all left behind. They all just scarpered.
Yeah, like in the book, Lloyd was supposed to be doing the DJ at it.
That's right. Yeah, there's no mention of that.
Yeah, he was using the decks from some other lad he didn't really like.
Yeah,
but there's no mention of that in this.
But they all just leg it, and as I say, Pippin is arrested.
Gets sectioned.
Yeah. So this is how Lloyd and Heather do meet. So it was at that.
Was it?
Meet. Yeah.
The fuck is wrong with her?
It was the friend who brought her along to it, so they must have...
What the fuck's wrong with her friend?
We never learn. We
well, maybe there'll be a Ecstasy part 2.
Maybe so.
I hope not.
We could make that. So it starts to show them getting to know each other then. He's asking her where she's from, and she says Toronto, and he makes the joke, was that not the Lone Ranger's mate?
Oh, jeez.
And that's actually a joke that Begbie makes in the book, Train Spotting to a Bird on a Train. So that's inspired there.
Absolutely.
It was just as funny here as it was when Begbie said it. But Heather's, surprise, surprise, says she's not a clubber and she just went clubbing to forget.
Forget her miserable life.
Yeah, she doesn't reveal straight away. I don't think she admits to him that she's married at this point.
No, she never admits to it.
I don't think he would have cared too much anyway.
No. Get in his hole, shall we, would he?
Another scene with the father then. More strange accent I have down here. It's just, he's mumbling a lot of the time.
Yeah,
so it's hard to spot it.
Face on the drink.
He actually offers the father a yoke then.
Yeah, that's how much he cares for his father.
Well, he's baiting him one scene and then trying to kill him with ecstasy the next.
You're heartbroken because my mother died. You're drinking yourself to death, but here, have some E.
This will sort you out.
Yeah.
Heather's home life then. So this, again, I found this the most interesting part of the book, but it's poorly executed here, to say the least.
God.
And I think it's down to a mixture of the writing and the performances.
It's the writing? God.
Well, the dialogue, I don't think it's pulled directly from the book. It's, rewritten by whoever did the script. The actress, as I say, I thought she does have a presence to her, but she just doesn't get an opportunity to use it here whatsoever. Well, you just get none of her inner thoughts that were the funny bits from the book where she's basically taking the piss out of his husband. You just get all his side of it where he's basically mouthing off in a shite Scottish accent. But in the book, it was much more obvious that she'd put up with shite from him for a long time before.
And her boss.
Yeah, exactly. The sexist, lecherous boss. But there is a scene of her rediscovering her love of music, hence why she wants to start going clubbing again, I'm sure. There's a cringy scene then.
Just one.
Just one. So there's another scene in Solo's office here, which is, again is...
It's a classic.
Yeah. There's an Irish
where the
guy.
Magic happens.
There's an Irish guy, or sounds like he has a genuine Irish accent, and he is working directly for the big man.
The big man.
Who we see a little flash of him, but there's no dialogue from the big man whatsoever. He doesn't
have time for dialogue.
No.
He's too important.
So describe the big man to me, James.
A big fat Ricky Gervais lookalike.
So a very intimidating figure.
Not in the slightest bit intimidating.
But this Irish guy is basically...
It looks a bit like Ricky Gervais if he had a stroke. And I'm sorry, but that's not intimidating.
No, definitely not. But this Irish guy who's working directly for him is telling Solo that he needs to up his game. There's not enough profits coming in. And they have a very tense fight.
Oh, fisticuffs.
Which has to be broken up by the mute Henry Rollins. Next, we have Pippin again.
God, in the nut house.
He's in hospital. Doesn't quite get the effect of, say, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest or
no.
Requiem for a Dream or anything like that in terms of effectiveness. But what is it? My drugs are better than yours. My drugs are better than yours.
It's just horrendous. Even in the nut house, we're saying, this fella's a cabbage.
Please stop.
Yeah. He's worse than us. I'm here licking the window, but it doesn't matter. He's worse.
It cuts again then to Heather, who's working she's actually ironically working for Scotland Against Drugs campaign. But her boss is perving on her the whole time. She tells Lloyd that she's separated, which of course is not quite the case yet. There's just another big montage of them getting to know each other. There's clubbing, there's lovely walks in the countryside.
Talks.
Taxi rides. There's a trip to the zoo.
Laughter.
Oh, lots of laughter.
Looking at the animals.
Yeah, it looks like they were smoking, was it a
heroin?
Is it? No, they weren't smoking
a shisha.
Yeah, shisha, that's it. What do they call it? A shishi. But it shows them then back just sitting down watching the city of Edinburgh. It looks to be the same spot, the hillside actually, that is in Trainspotting 2 when now Renton and Spud go for a run up there. I'm sure it's a scenic spot for a lot of people in the area. Lots of lovely stuff to partake in with a lovely lady, but not so much fun to watch.
Definitely not fun to watch.
But Lloyd does say that she makes him want to be a better man.
Oh, God, it was so corny.
There's a lot of cringe coming up with Lloyd here and herself. And more funny painting by numbers, craziness by Pippin as well. I can't even... my drugs are better than yours. It just keeps ranting that up and down the corridor. But Solo finds out that for definite that Lloyd has been dealing behind his back then. So
damn it.
Trouble is brewing. Lloyd he's on the run from Solo then for a little while, is he?
Yeah, and then he gets chased in the city.
Yeah, I think I have that down here. It's not exactly the French Connection in terms of a chase scene. Lloyd and your favourite character, who we won't name, go to visit Pippin then. They're taking drugs in front of him in this rehab centre, which can't be good for him either. And they're playing chess as well, just to show that they have, a cultured side.
Yeah, they're very smart guys.
Your man brought some herbal tea as well, which I'm sure will sort Pippin out.
Sort anyone out.
More steamy sex scenes then with Heather herself. No earphones this time.
With herself?
Well, with Lloyd and Heather.
All right.
But there's no earphones, so obviously he's happy enough to hear what Heather had to say during the sex.
Maybe the other one farted a lot during sex.
It does happen.
Put you off, I suppose.
So we get a little bit more of the storyline from the book where Lloyd wants to go clubbing, but Heather just wants to start chilling and getting to know each other while they're
getting
sober.
to know the real each other.
Exactly, yeah.
All that shite.
Basically be sober.
Yeah.
Which,
he says
is helpful in a relationship sometimes. Yeah. They start swapping secrets, and this is the bit that really got me. Lloyd reveals that he likes to go into libraries and sneak poetry that he's written into books just for strangers to then pick up in the future and read, just as a little gift to them.
What an absolute load of bollocks.
I don't know whether he was serious or not, but that's one of the cringiest things I've ever heard in my life.
It's just horrific, yeah. He probably drawn pictures of tits or something and put them in it. Yeah.
No mention of him being mistaken for the other bloke in the area who has sex with his sister. Though.
Yeah, no, he wasn't mentioned at all.
No, they don't bring in that storyline whatsoever, which is a pity. Just for the fact that it probably would have been more interesting than some of the stuff we did get.
Yes, it would have been.
But we get more of his kind of inner narration then, which just comes across as a Renton ripoff, As I say, Trainspotting's not the first film to use that style of narration, but it's just not effective here at all. It possibly would have been more effective if they'd given it to the character of Heather, actually, to show how pissed off she was with her marriage and whatnot.
I think you're just obsessed with Heather.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but I like her more than I like Lloyd, put it to you that way, or Pippin, or the chap with the herbal tea.
I don't like any of them.
That's becoming obvious. Her husband confronts her then.
Oh, God.
Again, he's got this fucked up, not Scottish accent. But he does use the parting line where she basically insults his performance in the bedroom. As he's leaving, he shouts, "I shag like a fucking porn star, you cunt." This is where we get the chase scene then. So it's almost, it's not really explained, but obviously we know.
Just start running.
Like, why is he running away from him? Like, surely he's just going to go, okay, I'll go and see Solo and tell him more lies and keep him off
was he
the
not
scent.
walking down the street and your man recognised him and then just started chasing him?
Yeah, and then it amounts to nothing.
Yeah.
He just gives up after about 2 minutes.
He just... your man Lloyd just steps into a doorway and the other fucker just runs by. And that's it. It's just...
Which I suppose when you think about it is another Trainspotting ripoff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Sick Boy does that. But anyway, he's late for dinner with Heather.
And he's off his tits.
Yeah, he's took a wee bit of speed. Again, like Spud going for his job interview.
She's not impressed.
No, stop fluting around with whatever it's coming across on the thing there. You bastard.
You vicious bastard.
But yeah, she does give the line that he's an emotional fake, which I do like and is obviously very true. But he shouts at the waitress to fuck off, which it could have been funny if it had been executed better.
It was executed terribly.
Terrible execution by that performance. Solo then goes to visit the health food shop.
Yeah. And threatens to wreck his...
This is where the fag on the hand is.
Is it?
Yeah. So that happens.
Oh, yeah, it is.
So you probably enjoyed that scene.
I thought I should have got him into his eyeball. That would have been a lot better.
So Solo's obviously looking for Lloyd, but in fairness to Ali, he doesn't give him up.
He certainly doesn't.
He's
just
a good friend to the end.
Get out of my shop. Get out. And your man does. It's just like hardened drug dealer and some little twat is telling him, get out of my shop. And he leaves. So I was just like,
You're making the tofu turn sour here.
What do for them vegans?
There's actually a cameo by the man himself then, Mr. Irvine Welsh. Not in person, he's on a sign.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, Lloyd is sitting at a bus stop and just above him is a sign that says, I heart Leet, and it's Irvine Welsh. It's actually a picture. I recognise the picture from, it was probably on the back or the inside sleeve of one of the books going back, but that's his only appearance in the film.
Lucky him.
Yes. Yeah, Ali still isn't. Ali obviously isn't impressed with Lloyd about the interrogation he got from who would be after getting a cigarette put out on their hand.
Severe beating. Well, no, cigarette in the hand.
And then it shows how Pippin's still in hospital speaking to his doctor, the guitarist from Rush. And he actually uses the quote from that Killer song, I've got soul, but I'm not a soldier or something.
Jesus Christ.
So this is where the doctor tells him that he's been sectioned. I thought this had already happened, but this is the official diagnosis now by the sounds of it. And I think this is probably Pippin's best acting in the whole fucking film. Just this one moment where he looks a bit sad.
Probably realised what's happened to his life.
Yeah,
He's
pretty
in
much.
this film.
I mean, Billy Boyd, he could probably play a downtrodden, hopeless character better than what he tried to achieve here, which was an overconfident, funny guy for...
Wacky.
Yes, some would say wacky. But he just, I don't know, he has a little bit of the vulnerability that Ewan Bremner can bring to Spud, but he doesn't get an opportunity to use it properly in this film whatsoever. Like this, as I say, this is a sad scene, but it's over pretty quickly. I mean, he doesn't even say it, and he just has tears in his eyes as the doctor says,
maybe
you're
he's just,
staying here.
Maybe he's just chopping onions.
Maybe so. Your man was there making soup for the health shop. Old Lloyd finally goes to see Solo to come clean.
Face off.
Yes, tense stuff. And Solo threatens to go after Heather, who he now knows about. He tells him he needs to go on one last mule run to Amsterdam. We see Lloyd doing a lot of small town.
Bronski beat.
We see him doing a lot of kind of small time dealing with various people, just trying to build up a bit of cash or whatever.
Bronski beat style.
And this is where we get the shot of the Black Bull pub and the steps that Renton had ran down. He goes by, the Persevere Court Flats. They're in Leith as well, I believe. And he goes to see Heather again in the city chambers. I think he actually asks her for money to help out, so that's classy stuff.
Doesn't go well.
No, definitely not. More perving, I think, from the boss at this stage as well.
I don't think he was even perving. He was just there, get this riffraff out of my out of my office.
Where's the coffee? And this finally is where he goes to visit the dad, and the dad reveals that he has prostate cancer. So he's moving back home with the dad to save money, which probably makes a bit of sense.
Not for the dad.
There's another sad line here, which I thought was, mildly effective from the father, from the actor, where he says, "I'm going to drink until I'm with your mother." So that's...
If the mother was only around the corner in the boozer. Sure, that was just robbed from somewhere else as well. It was just terrible.
Probably. I mean, that again reminded me of that story from the acid house where the widower was on the boat and was missing the missus, so took a short jump off the end of the boat.
The Adriatic.
But again, a brief moment of decent acting, I thought, in the film. But he does give Lloyd some money and tells him to clean up his act.
He does.
Which Lloyd is getting around to, just not yet. Solo visits Heather then. This is a tough enough scene. Viciously assaults her. Pretty horrible in fairness.
It was out an hour.
I mean, it was out an hour, yeah. He was... It's the most intimidating he was. He certainly wasn't like that when he was in his old office with the lads. But Lloyd does agree that instead of going absolutely fucking mental at this, Lloyd, calmly tells him, "Oh, you don't leave my girlfriend
better
alone.
not do that again."
Yeah. Oh, shake my fist. But he does agree to do one last smuggle job. He should have just attacked Solo at this point, I think.
He should have fucking classed him or something.
Yeah, so this is where he goes on this last run dressed as the priest.
Oh, Jesus
and,
Christ.
Stands out a mile, looks like he's literally wearing it like a fancy dress, priest outfit.
And like he comes up to the exact same security guy and is there, right, this might be good. And your man just goes, on you go. It was just the last chance in the film of redeeming itself a tiny bit was gone.
Yeah. There's I have down here there was some tense music which sounded really like Underworld.
Yeah.
Which we got a lot in fairness. He uses the money that his father gave him to buy some extra drugs off this guy Sven in Amsterdam, which he needs to just get for Solo. It looks like he swallows he's just swallowing bag after bag of pills, is it?
Massive, like fucking pudding-sized fucking bags of fucking pills.
It is. It's Harry Houdini stuff.
Yeah, totally. Jesus.
And the air stewardess is knocking on the door as he's...
And he's in the biggest jacks in the world. You see it? He's on a flight from Amsterdam to fucking Edinburgh. And the toilet is literally 10 metres by 10 metres with chandeliers in it and everything.
The jacks was bigger than some of the dance floors in the raves.
Fucking right. It was massive. And he's falling around the place.
And his voice when he's telling her, "I'll be out in a minute." He's like something out of The Exorcist.
"I'm just finishing a bleeding shy."
Even he sounded Irish. But we see the screen starts to go fuzzy then to kind of symbolise how woozy he's obviously starting to feel.
The drugs burst in his gut.
But just waved on through by the customs officer, no problem whatsoever. Henry Rollins is waiting at the airport for him.
Gets a taxi off his... I'm like, no taxi man in the world is taking him. He was frothing at the mouth and everything, for fuck's sake.
But he rings old Ali then, sorry I said his name again there,
bastard,
to get you're right, the nurse Marie to come help. And Heather turns up as well inexplicably, so she's obviously decided that she's not as pissed off for him as she...
No, now that he's absolutely off his head on drugs, she likes him more. Now that he's ODing.
Yeah, so they're back in the flat and he's barfing up these drugs. They look very frothy indeed.
This scene
they don't look
fucking is just beyond shit.
It's all over the shop.
It's just...
The drugs don't look resellable for starters.
No, because they're in a foam form, dribbling down the side of his face.
I did have speed a long time ago that was more or less in foam form. But
did you suck it off someone's face?
No. It may have come from there though.
Yeah, true.
But Solo and Rollins
arrive in.
They do.
The heavies.
And now Lally starts. What does he pick up to kind of fend them off? A cucumber or something? Something from his health store, was it?
A stick of celery.
It was something like a plunger or a toilet brush or something.
Oh, God.
But, it's just so weird. Lloyd finally stands up to Solo.
Lloyd literally on death's bed, frotting at him out, having a fit, dying, suddenly gets up and loafs him and then collapses again. It was just, oh my God.
He just found
But in fairness, when he got
strength.
up, he was lying in the bath, frothed, sick all over him. He gets up and he's spotless. Opens his eyes, he's wide awake, nuts him, and then collapses again. It was just...
Sometimes you just got to step up, James.
I suppose, yeah.
But then...
the big man.
So the big man comes in. He's leading the charge here.
But says nothing.
Says no, doesn't need to.
No.
Doesn't need to. His presence alone is enough. But like, first off, if he is as big as the big man suggests, why is he going anywhere near this job?
It should be beyond him. Well beneath him.
But he comes in leading the charge. It looks like that...
Maybe he has a thirst for violence.
He does.
But then again, he just comes in and just goes... Points to them and they just take him out. They don't even do anything to him.
They just kind of strong arm him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, your man is there, the guy that was first assaulted by Solo in the scene. So he's obviously been promoted.
Yeah, he's getting
he is pointing a gun.
Yeah.
But no shots are fired.
No.
He actually, when he came in first with the gun, I thought, oh, this is an undercover copper. But he wasn't.
Oh, God, no, I didn't think that.
I got a little bit of Line of Duty vibes off it for a split second and then it was gone again. But yeah, he's fucked up for the last time, apparently, Solo. He's never seen again. What do you think happened to him?
Probably just let him off.
Kick up the arse and sent down.
Don't be doing that again now. Oh, fuck off.
The big
I don't
man.
mess with the big man.
Anyway, that was it.
There should have been more a big man.
There really should have.
I mean,
sometimes less is more, but we were left with a lot of questions.
Wanting more. His presence alone, his stage presence was...
There's more in that little trailer that I found online.
There is. Than he's actually in the
when
film.
he's pulling poses.
Yeah.
But off he went. But he rules the roost now and he doesn't need to worry about Solo again.
Solo's not going to fucked up for the last time.
Definitely not. We cut to a funeral then, and I suppose we're left wondering for a second, is this maybe Lloyd's funeral?
I was hoping it was.
One too many froths from the mouth. But obviously we see from the older crowd that it's actually his father who's died. And the good news as well, Pippin is there. He's been let out to attend the funeral.
The good news is the father was desolate. No one living in a shithole off his face on drink every day. Yet the funeral was absolutely waged with the happiest looking, richest looking people I've ever seen in my life. Just... Oh my God.
This is where they blew the budget on getting the extras for this funeral. This is where the £1 million went. But Lloyd gives this eulogy and, he says that his dad taught him that if you're going to love somebody, truly love them, you have to face up to yourself and who you really are.
I don't think Zool had said that at all.
Well, if he did, we couldn't make it out. It's followed up by, let's face it, a pretty bad attempt at crying from Adam. Is it Adam Sinclair? Yeah.
Trevor Sinclair, former QPR winger. He would have done a fucking better job at crying, I'd say.
Yeah, it wasn't a good cry whatsoever. No. We're treated to Coldplay then, which I'm sure you were happy about.
I was very happy that
God put a smile on your face. I do like some Coldplay songs. I like this song. I don't know what the fuck it was doing in this film.
It was just for you.
I guess so. It's one of two songs from the soundtrack that I recognise that weren't this kind of modernised generic dance music. But anyway, I liked it. Totally out of place here though. Where are we? So Pippin is gone then and sends Lloyd a poise card. I got a poise card.
It was my dad.
He's in Goa in India.
Yeah.
So he's really turned his life around here.
He's the king of Goa as well.
He's suddenly turned into Judith Chalmers.
Judas Priest, more like it. No, didn't he hatch that idea when he was in the nut house? And going to Goa.
He did say that. He said a lot of things throughout this film which made no sense, but this part apparently he followed through on. I'm sure he followed through in his
well,
pants.
if he was in Goa, he definitely did.
But we wish him well here at Junk Dilemmas anyway on his worldly travels. Heather and Lloyd are in a club here. I thought this club scene looked terrible. This looked like a room.
Are you fucking surprised?
This looked like a 21st or something.
It was upstairs in the Kildrout. It was horrific.
Lloyd is wearing a t-shirt that says "Love is a great adventure." I noticed. He does tell Heather that he loves her.
He loves her a lot.
She starts looking at him suspiciously. This is from the book again. So this is where she's wondering, is he sober or just off his face? Yeah. So she goes over to the bar.
Who's there?
Your mate is there. This is the bit in the book where she had found out that, or thought that Lloyd was the bloke from Leith who was Shaggy's sister.
But they should have brought that up.
Yeah, and Ali clarifies at the bar that no, that's not this Lloyd, you're all right. This doesn't happen here. All that happens here is, no, he's not drunk, he's not on drugs, he's just on energy drinks and wheatgrass, which I'm sure he supplied.
Did you ever taste that shit?
No.
Oh, fucking hell, it's wrong.
Better than crystal meth.
No.
But so Lloyd is on nothing here but 100% love, it appears.
And
so
high emotions.
High on emotion, as Christy Berg would say. But this convinces Heather that, this is the man for her, and off they pop. But not before Lloyd turns around and looks straight at the camera, breaks the fourth wall, and we get this kind of mist coming through the door, like the opposite of stars in their eyes. He says at the end, as he looks at the camera, right now, all over the world, people are surrendering to love.
Oh, it's just brilliant.
And the final song then is Primal Scream, Moving On Up. Cracker of a song. Again, I suppose it does fit a bit. I mean, they have an Irvine Welsh connection going back from the start, but the song just doesn't fit with the rest of the songs, apart from,
it's a good song, so you can, at least there's something good in it.
Indeed. And that's the film, James. We got through it.
That was a classic.
So, favourite bits, James?
Any bit with the big man. And that's it.
By my count, there was 2 bits with him. There was literally one tiny shot of him.
3 bits.
Was there?
There was a tiny shot of him.
Drinking. Was that the one where he's sitting?
Yeah. Sitting drinking. There was at the rave.
Was he at the rave?
He just lurked in the background.
Oh, yeah.
And then the bit at the end.
The bit at the end where he coordinated a full-on assault.
With his...
frothy assault.
With his Ricky Gervais stroke face.
And versus Henry Rollins and the man known as Solo. That's the other thing. I don't like any character called Solo in a film except Han Solo. Just thought I'd put that in there.
Well, you're right. Plus, your mum is shite.
Yes.
What's your favourite bits of this?
My favourite bits, the character of Hazel. I really liked Hazel
Christ.
and her earphone sex. I thought that was a good performance. My favourite bits are the unintentional funny bits, i.e. Pippin being terrible at being funny, and the bit where Lloyd says that he leaves poetry in library books. So it's just cracked up with that. But
he probably leaves shite in the corner of the library.
Shite in books, and then closes
them up. Read that, you cunt.
That's like old Spud in Glue.
Yeah,
a wee calling card. Yeah, we didn't have many favourite bits. It's safe to say in this film.
Very safe.
Disturbing bits.
The whole film.
Well, I suppose Solo assaulting Heather wasn't very nice to fucking see whatsoever. Lloyd getting the drugs inserted in his rectum. I mean, we didn't get it from the backwards view.
That was grand. And
again, the inserter was a bit better looking than...
Yeah, it was like it was something he paid for in Amsterdam. It wasn't like a chore.
But other than that, not much more to say. Let's do connecting lines.
Yes, we shall.
There's no other characters from any other Irvine Welsh story in this. The only connection really is the kind of unashamed copying of Trainspotting.
The complete and utter fabrication of the whole film.
From the line of posters to the colour scheme of the posters to the kind of naming.
Getting chased through
Leeds.
Edinburgh.
Yeah. The names coming up at the start.
Oh, God.
The narration by the main character. And obviously, a lot of the music was very kind of underworld.
And his monologues.
Yeah, exactly.
Choose life, choose being a wanker and all this stuff.
Choose tofu.
Yeah.
Choose wheatgrass.
Choose fucking weak ass.
But sadly, no, shite in my mouth.
Shite in my mouth. Shite in my mouth. None of that.
But there's no other Welsh characters per se. But as we said, there was a shot of the man himself and the big man and the Welsh man.
All right.
And some
Ryan
of the
Giggs.
No, his brother.
All right. Rodri.
And obviously there was some of the locations that we would have recognised from Trainspotting as well. And we're nearly done. We're into our overall thoughts. So, do you want to go first?
Of the book, Ecstasy.
Yeah.
How did they, like, that was an atrocious story. How did they pick that one?
Well,
The other two might have been hard to make a film of, so just don't make a film.
yeah.
It was, oh God, it was just terrible. It was really bad. The story, the dialect, the fucking, it was just,
Yeah.
there was nothing.
I mean, all respect to the makers and the actors and everyone who contributed to it. I mean, they've all, had training prior to this in some shape or form, and I respect anyone who attempts anything, whether it's, going on a stage to sing a song or tell a joke or play an instrument or go to fucking acting school or whatever. But no, this didn't work out great in the end, it has to be said. You thought it didn't look cheap. I don't...
I didn't. I thought, like, the Acid House looked very cheap.
Yeah.
This didn't look as cheap, which made it worse.
Yeah.
Because they'd actually spent a few bob on it.
Yeah, you just wondered where the hell the money went. I mean,
Someone's arse or his nose or something.
This looked like it looked like almost a student-made film as far as I'm concerned. I'm sorry. It looked like something you could watch for free on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it wasn't free. We both paid €4.
We had to fucking pay because we couldn't. There was nowhere to get a dodgy stream for it. Even the dodgy streams have turned against it. That's how bad it is.
Yeah,
we searched high and low.
We had to pay £4 to
Four
Sky
fucking quid,
to watch this. Just to rent it.
Just to rent, yeah. I only had
Thankfully, it's gone off my Sky box
never
now.
to be seen again.
But, yeah, definitely. But no, I mean, the actors in it, as I say, one or two of them are fine, as actors. But their delivery in this film just didn't work. They were just all miscast as far as I'm concerned. And the dialogue just dreadful a lot of the time, most of the time. And only a small amount of that is from the book itself, so we can't blame Welsh for that.
Yeah.
He said after he did the screenplay for The Acid House that he wouldn't be doing another one. He probably could have done a better job here, let's be honest.
Wouldn't have been fucking hard.
Yeah. But just the attempts to make the characters interesting or wacky or
zany.
Yes, or dangerous, they just failed as far as I'm concerned.
Failed miserably.
But I mean, ironically, the story in the book is nothing like Trainspotting for the most part, other than the fact that the characters are set, or live in Leith. So if they just filmed that story, even though you hated it and I didn't really like it, if they just filmed that, it probably would have come off as a better film.
Yeah.
But they added this whole international drugs mule storyline with Solo, and in an attempt to make it more interesting, and it just didn't.
Failed miserably.
Yeah, so marks out of 10. No, sorry, marks out of 5.
What did I give the Acid House? 2.5, was it?
I think you might have, yeah.
Yeah, I'll give this a half.
A half. I'm going to go... You can give a half, yeah.
Can I go 0?
You can go 0 if you want, I don't care.
Well, they put the effort in, so I'll give them a half.
Fair play. I'm going to go 1. That's half for the character of your earphones girl.
They could have just got anyone with big tits to do that then.
Hey now, that's not what it's about, okay?
It was for you.
It was the performance.
All right, sorry.
But
the
anyway,
delivery of those tits.
I thought she was a good actress.
She didn't do any acting.
She did.
All right.
She had sex with a pair of earphones on.
Right.
Half a point for her, 0.25 a point for Pippin being in Taggart, and 0.25 of a point for Solo being in Breaking Bad. So that's where the 1 comes from.
Fair, very fair.
But yeah,
my 0.5 is for the big man.
Surely he's bigger than 0.5.
There wasn't enough of him.
Fair enough.
We got about 30 seconds of him in the whole film. If we had 3 minutes of the big man, he would have got 5 out of 5.
My God. Just imagine what could have been.
Oscars all round if the big man was in it longer.
Lord. Anyway, it's in our rearview mirror now, thank God. That was Irvine Welsh's Ecstasy. Next episode, James, we're going to be discussing, we're back to the books, and it will be the book Filth.
Yes, I'm currently 3/4 of the way through it.
Excellent.
It's very good.
0.75, some might say.
0.75, yes, indeed. It's very good.
Good. So look forward to a better score for Filth than we've just given for Irvine Welsh's Ecstasy then.
Yes, I can, even from here, have not finished it yet. It's definitely going to get more than
Unless the character of Ali from this...
Well, if he arrives, all bets are off.
With his wheatgrass. Okay, so I reckon that's it from us. Anything else you want to say?
Stay safe and rubber up.
Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Slán.